Good evening and a warm welcome. I'm Aditi Lamba and you are watching the Wednesday night South Asian News edition on Vision of Asia. Much on mobilizing the community and promoting cultural richness and resources for all, this week we continue to bring forth more on South Asian Americans, their contributions and successes. More on the ongoing theme of March as Women's History Month and recognition on the show today, while also a reflection into performance arts and theatre. Also, again, we are following up with comments and sentiments post the tragic terrorist shooting in New Zealand last week, which killed 50 at two mosques in Christchurch, New Zealand. Reaching out to Muslim American organizations and advocates for their comments on this act. Do email us on events@itvgo.com, and again, our condolences for all impacted. With that, it's now time to begin tonight's segment, taking a look at South Asian influence in arts, empowerment, and social responsibility. Let's begin with the headlines. Albert Cahn on Stop Non-Profit and New Zealand Mosque Shooting, ITV Gold exclusive. Indian Heritage and Cultural Association presents 4th Annual Natya Darpan 2019 in Edison, New Jersey. Telangana American Telugu Association hosts Women's Day's commemoration at the Royal Albert's Palace in New Jersey. Much on the other side of the break. Stay with us in Vision of Asia, Voice of the Community. We'll be right back. Welcome again, I'm Aditi Lamba and you are watching Vision of Asia, South Asian News segment. Beginning the episode tonight, let's take a look at our first highlights coming in from the very successful 4th Annual Natya Darpan 2019 Showcase in New Jersey. Presented by the Indian Heritage and Cultural Association of New Jersey, this event was a theatre event featuring 6 plays this year, covering a variety of subjects and variety of Indian languages pertaining to several important social and cultural issues impacting Indians. Held at the Middlesex County College, Natya Darpan 2019 attracted a lot of mainstream audiences, also including dignitaries such as the Indian Consul General Sandeep Chakravarti and other community leaders in support. Promotion of local artists and talents within the diaspora here in theatre performance arts, this year saw relevant themes encouraging the fields of creative arts amongst the community. Let's take a look at some highlights, bringing forth some key insights.
Absolutely fascinating. There's such a range of talent, that new talent, young people, very active and interesting young people, and also very interesting older actors who bring the traditions of the classical theater from India to this place, so that you don't find that everywhere in America. And so for your viewers, I really urge people to attend these productions next year. You've missed out this year, but you can always come next year, probably at the same time in March, and participate and be involved if you can, which I think would be good for everyone involved, because Indian theater is a very large and interesting theater with very wide varieties of talents, techniques, and particularly between the Bengali and the Marathi theater, there's been enormous enthusiasm over the years. As well as the South Indian theater forms, which we haven't seen here, but maybe in the future we will. So come and see what's here.
So many of those urban educated babus were dying in the hands of the police and forces day and night. Dopti promised that as long as she lived, she will not let a single soul die ever.
And I'm happy that we were able to put together such a very intense play, which also at the same time very relevant for today's world. It's not for India, although the incident happened in West Bengal, but this is happening all over the world, as you know. If we open the newspaper, you see every single day, irrespective of ages, women are victims of in the society, and they are being abused, they are being raped, and actually we put together our protest as a theater worker against that and create awareness among us, then we should all protest against it.
Lonka Ponchas. Tu asis na. Du বলে সিসারিটা আবার আসছে, তোরে পেলে বসতি বা জ্বালাইন দিবি। দুঃখী রানের কথাটাও বাবুটা জেনেছে। কেমন করে? সময় আর বুধনা আর আমি কইল তারা কোথা তেলে চেপে পালালো। পথ হারাবো না। আরে এই জঙ্গলের পাতা থেকে সাপ, পিঁপড়া থেকে ব্যান সব আমার চেনা। তুই সালা খোঁচর, জানের মায়া তুই করিস, তুই করবি। তোরে আমি গড়হায় ফেলে শেষ করে দেবো, বাপ বলা টের পাবি না।
Anyone is captured, others will change their hideouts in time.
नहीं जानी,
तुम समझ नहीं पा रही हो तुम क्या करती हो? हमारे पास समय बहुत कम है, बता दो।
हमें नहीं जानी।
I just want to say that we are fortunate that we are able to bring theater that says something, that gives voice to the voiceless, and we are very happy and thrilled that we have such wonderful audiences who are hungry and eager for meaningful theater. Thank you.
This program was exceptionally well organized. Each and every episode was fantastic. I don't want to say this was the best, that was, but each of them it did carry some message to the society, and I think, I hope in the future they run this kind of, Also the food was excellent, provided by Cahn. We loved it, and we will never miss it again, any of these programs. Thank you.
So here, we're excited that we're doing, and I'm just showing up, but what you do to be here is so important, and we appreciate what you're doing, and it's wonderful. I'd be wrong to not mention our freeholder director, Ron Rios, who's part of the county. Is how you get your real money. But we're always here to support you, and we're proud to be here.
First of all, I would like to congratulate Natya Darpan for this initiative. I think what you are doing is really remarkable, that you are producing plays by people who live here, the Indian diaspora community, and you are giving them a platform to express their emotions, to express their ideas and views. I think it's an incredible work that you are doing. It needs to be replicated in other diaspora communities, and I congratulate Natya Darpan and its executive team, Ashok Chaudhary and all others, for this initiative. The moment we learned about it, we got very excited, and we thought we should partner with Natya Darpan, and I think we can carry forward this partnership.
I played Diwakar, the aged actor whose glory days are over, but a producer tries to bring him back, and his reactions to it, some of the sacrifices, quote unquote sacrifices, that he does while doing it, is what I depicted. I hope people enjoyed it.
तो माझा दोष, तरी मी तुला सांगत होतो, दारू कमी पी, तब्येतीची काळजी घे. नाही?
दिवाकर, दारू माझं औषध.
काय बोलतेस तू रे? किती वेळा झिंगून पडायचीस तू? मी उचलून आणले तुला आपल्या खोलीवर.
We are celebrating with our team our latest production, Natha Ha Maza, which is based on the theater actor's personal life and his love interest. We just finished it, and everybody seemed to have liked it.
ही तुझ्या आयुष्यात आली आणि तुझी स्टेज वरची स्टेज मागची नाटकं जास्त रंगायला.
आपल्या नटांचं आयुष्य हे असंच असतं. जितकी जास्त लोकप्रियता तितके जास्त दौरे, तितकं जास्त घरादारापासून लांब, तितका एकांतवास. तुला तर माहिती, एकदा का चेहऱ्यावरचा रंग उतरला की एकलेपण खायला होतं.
So my name is Ashutosh Harap, and I played Shashikant in this play. Shashikant is the loyal assistant aide to Diwakar. He's been with him for the last 30 plus years, and now he finds himself in the predicament where he is asked to be replaced. And he, besides being just an aide, he has intense feelings for Diwakar, of loyalty, of love. And so this is sort of what brings us to the climax, where the thought of having to be replaced is just too much for him.
Festival was a resounding success with 6 short plays that happened today, all based on social issues and by the local talent here, the actors, the writers, directors, everything was done locally. And Dr. Ashok Chaudhary, who is the founder of IHCA, that does Natya Darpan every year, has done a phenomenal job, and I hope they continue with such amazing plays every year. And we need to go and support all these guys, you know, of our community. And of course, thank you to everyone, the media sponsors, the officials that were here who supported us today. It was a great event. And thank you, ITV Gold, for being here today for us. Thank you.
Now we bring you an exclusive conversation featuring Mr. Albert Cahn, the founder and executive director for STOP, Surveillance Technology Oversight Project, a non-profit advocacy and legal service provider. The non-profit's work highlights the discriminatory impact of warrantless and suspicionless surveillance on Muslim New Yorkers, immigrant New Yorkers, and New Yorkers of color. With a long-serving experience in civil rights matters, minority voices, and litigation, Albert Cahn has been a prominent advocate for immigrant communities, especially Muslim Americans in New York, fighting for the community's identity, dignity, and respect. He spoke to us on the new non-profit STOP and also shared his views and sentiments on the recent terrorist shooting in New Zealand at the mosque, killing 50 Muslims. He gave his comments on Muslim voices and xenophobia. Let's take a look. Please give us an insight into what exactly are we talking about when we say the name Surveillance Technology Oversight Project, and what sort of initiated this thought process of having STOP?
Yeah, as you know, I've been a civil rights lawyer here in New York for a number of years, and I was privileged enough to have a position at CARE New York, heading up their legal work and advocacy work for the last 2.5 years. And when I was there, I saw that there was a need for an organization to push back at the way the NYPD and other local and state level police departments use surveillance technology. And by that I mean everything from cameras on the streets to new technology that tracks our phone, tracks where we are, tracks what we're saying, tracks what we're researching, and trying to make sure that those powerful tools, sometimes the same tools that the military uses, aren't used in a way that discriminates against communities of color, immigrant communities, and the Muslim community.
Right. So let's talk a little bit more about this since we sort of brought into it. As your website says, STOP talks about harnessing technology and targeting surveillance. So for all our audiences, the surveillance we're talking about, according to STOP, is the fact that at times, as you said, Albert, people from minorities, Muslim immigrants, even the black minorities, are targeted or discriminated against, and surveillance is used against them. And that's exactly what you are saying, that they are being targeted and tracked because they are a minority or because they're looked as somebody that I guess that need to be, surveillance at. So what's your opinion on this? And exactly why do you think the minorities are being, targeted in that aspect?
Yeah, the numbers here in New York are really telling. At a time when the New Zealand shooting shows us that white supremacist terrorism is one of the leading threats to national security, here in New York, 95% of NYPD intelligence investigations, 95% target Muslim New Yorkers. And at the same time, we also know that peaceful political movements in the African American community, like Black Lives Matter, are also targeted with warrantless surveillance. And because of that, we have a clear picture that New York is using this arsenal of spy equipment not to target the threat, but to target communities of color, to target immigrant communities, and to target the Muslim community.
Do you think this increases xenophobia? Is that one of the issues that you would be tackling with STOP? Do you believe that surveillance and targeting in this aspect directly impact these communities in a negative way?
Of course, 100%, because when we see these communities treated as a threat, not because of what they have done, but because of who they are, it perpetuates a cycle of stigmatization. We see the Muslim community in particular being stigmatized as a threat simply for their faith, for nothing else. And it's something that's been going on in New York City for over 15 years. Here we used to have a focus on in-person surveillance.
Right.
Undercover officers and informants who would go into the mosques and see who was going to pray. They would actually go through neighborhoods and try to map out where Muslim communities lived. This was called the demographics unit. And that was an earlier version of surveillance back when you needed in-person informants in order to monitor who was where. But
Right.
now so much of that same surveillance can be carried out simply by looking at the data on our phones, simply by looking at the cameras on our streets and harnessing these new surveillance tools. And we at STOP think that it is wrong to have those tools used without proper oversight, without proper safeguards.
Just taking off of this, everything that STOP is talking about, and especially what has happened sort of in the world in the last week on Muslim sentiments, on immigrant sentiments, on the concept of xenophobia and so much more, I would like for you to make a comment on behalf of STOP on what happened with the mass shooting in New Zealand. So I would like for you to give a comment on this.
Look, as a Jewish man who has been fighting for the Muslim community for many years, who has been an interfaith advocate for my entire adult life, it's heartbreaking when I see a place of faith, a place of safety, a place of community, turned into a crime scene. When I see those photos of the small children, the elderly, everyone just being targeted, being killed because of their faith. I don't know if there are words that can fully capture that. But what I think I have taken away from the last few days has been just incredible awe at the resilience I see from my Muslim brothers and sisters every day in the face of this sort of hate. And at least here in New York, I see renewed reason for optimism that we have solidarity to come together in these moments. That in the darkness following this brutal attack, that there is a willingness of New Yorkers of every faith, of every race, of every ethnicity to come together and say that we will stand united as a city in the face of this sort of bloodshed.
Do you believe that perhaps it might be a time for a global empowerment for the Muslim community with so much happening everywhere and so much said in so many parts of the world? What is your opinion on this? What do you think really needs to be said about them? Because obviously there is so much hatred that's being shown.
I can't speak to the global Muslim community. Obviously, as an ally, there are limits to what is proper for me to say. But what I do think is important is that every single person of goodwill around the world needs to stand up and denounce this sort of white supremacy. That it is not simply enough to be casually condemning it. It's not enough to simply not share those views. We must all actively band together and denounce it.
Time for the show break. Stay with us on Vision of Asia. We'll be right back. Welcome again. You are tuned to Vision of Asia, bringing you prime South Asian highlights from all across. Concluding the show tonight, we bring you more on the ongoing theme of this month of March, celebrating women's history and recognition all across. The occasion brings forth the ideology of gender equality, rights, and equal access. With that, women empowerment has been one of the key issues impacting several South Asian communities, with a lot more push towards encouraging, educating, and enabling women and their progress. From Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao to Nari Shakti, communities have strengthened over the years in a movement to empower more. On that, this month, several Indian organizations nationwide have been hosting numerous celebrations for International Women's Day, recognizing and applauding pioneer women and their works. Recently, the Telangana American Telugu Association held a grand celebration for its International Women's Day at the popular Royal Albert's Palace in New Jersey. The mission of Telangana American Telugu Association is to promote and perpetuate the cultural and social conditions of Telangana and the people of Telugu descent in general. Let's take a look at some highlights.
Women can be empowered to care for themselves. Usually they are not paying attention to themselves. They want to take care of everybody but themselves. But as they take care of themselves, their families do better and their communities do better. So we are here to educate, empower the women in our community.
She has multiple roles with multiple jobs and challenging tasks she takes in, and she does a great job fulfilling all the duties. Excellent. Women is amazing. Women are amazing.
Telangana American Telugu Association celebrating Women's Day in New Jersey in Albert Palace. There is a spectacular event today. A lot of women showed up, about 600 people. So they are celebrating big way Women's Day here. So TATA gives high priority to women. We conduct a lot of programs for women. So particularly we will conduct Batukamma Telangana Festival grand way in October. And also now we are conducting Women's Day. So we are collaborating with St. Peter Hospital, Dr. Meena Murthy, and we are conducting a lot of programs for women. So thank you.
So we are very proud that in New Jersey, all the Telanganites came forward and celebrate this Women's Day. Without women, there is no mankind, there is no earth, there is no creation. So we need to respect the women. That is the reason we are all celebrating. And from Telangana is the 29th state of India. All the people from Telanganites wanted to preserve their culture and heritage and roots. And here in New Jersey, they're all motivated and working. And we're having a very good time. You can see at the backdrop, there's a lot of activities going on for the women. Thank you so much for ITV Gold for covering our today's event. Thank you again.
Basta
segment for tonight. Do send us suggestions to get your voices and organizations on our show. Remember to email us on events@itvgold.com or follow us on our Facebook handle @itvgold. You can also now subscribe to our YouTube channel to watch many of our popular shows for free. Thank you for joining us tonight. This is Vision of Asia and I'm Aditi Lamba. Take care and be well.